I think you'd agree with me that generally, globally, there's a lot of emphasis on issues like sustainability.
Right.
And with this conference, we are trying to bring a discourse or conversations around sustainability within the Namibian context as well, where we are trying basically to have Namibia also have a seat at the table, if I can use that word, where we also have our voice heard in terms of what does sustainability mean to us as a country, and not only as a country, but also as a continent as well. So NUST actually took that opportunity now to spearhead this conversation.
Let's talk a little bit about the main focus of the conference itself. Why is it particularly important now to talk about such a topic like this?
Well, going back again to what I said, it's really, as I said, almost everybody right now, whatever organization it is, you cannot succeed or do anything without what is sustainability. Sustainability is actually, should I say, the in thing or the buzz thing that we, should I say, maybe informs discourse, not only in government, but also even in the private sector as well. So with this type of thing, we're also, as I said, we're trying again to get the conversation going, if I can use that word.
And besides the public discourse that you're talking about, Doctor, why are these topics so critical for the business community?
With sustainability, what you are doing basically is to sort of what I call future-proofing your business.
What does that mean to the layman?
It's more of what's the word that I can use? It's more you are trying to sort of ensure that tomorrow you can still exist, because it's one thing in the corporate sector normally, you will agree with me that we are generally driven by profits, right? Or rather, desire to make profits today.
Right.
But the issue now is not only to make profits today, but also to say, let me also be there tomorrow, so that you don't think only for today, but also think for tomorrow as well. So that is the whole thing around sustainability issues.
And I guess that also goes with the fact that with the future generation, this is the tomorrow that we want them to see going forward.
Of course, because at the end of the day, you don't want a situation whereby even tomorrow's generation starts blaming, so, okay, yesterday. It's almost like even as a parent, you want to plan not only for your today, but you also want to plan that your children should also be able to inherit. I mean, when you take a life policy, for example, you are not going to be there to enjoy. Sometimes you see this advice saying, okay, there's this big life policy, but that policy can only kick in when you have now you're now gone. So with this type of thing, you're also with sustainability, also plans. So even after I'm gone, let Namibia continue, let our different sectors continue. So not to be just driven by consumption. Say, okay, let's not only think about today, but also tomorrow as well.
Right, right, indeed. And let's talk a little bit about the conference itself in terms of how does it aim to bridge the gap between theory and practice when it comes to ESG and sustainability. Those are keywords, within the system itself. But ESG and sustainability within Africa, in fact.
I would actually even go back a bit and say, I think in just about every field, especially in academia, I always talk about the issue that is, or what they call an action rhetoric gap. Sometimes you have got a lot of talking, but maybe less action as well. But with this type of thing, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to bring in people from theory, from academia, with also their own, obviously, as thought leaders in research, and bring also policymakers from outside. For example, as it is now, with the conference, it's not only an academic conference. There are also practitioners who are going to come to speak about what's happening regarding issues of sustainability. You will have also academics coming to speak as well. So when you have that type of discourse now, we don't want a situation where practitioners wake up one day and decide that, okay, you know what, I'm going to make a policy based on what? I always give an example for if government, for example, makes a policy, let's say on education, let's say there's no more corporal punishment.
Right.
I always ask, according to what evidence? And I think what we're trying to do now is to make sure that even our policymakers, when they make decisions, is based on sound research. And with this type of platform now, we're trying to close that gap. That's why we've also invited even people from government, people from the private sector, people from NGOs as well, so that we can work together. Because at the end of the day, we are in one society and there's no one. We cannot operate in silos. If we do that, unfortunately, we're unlikely to see any sort of development.
Just a follow-up to that question, in terms of the ICFSB 2025, how does that align with the United Nations development goals? Let's talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, and also Namibia's National Development Plan 6 that we currently have.
Yeah, well, along all this, and I'll even add, in addition to all that I've spoken about, I'll also add the issue of, for example, the AU, right? That there is along all this, the key theme there again comes into issue of sustainability. If you look at the conference, it's sort of multidisciplinary. We have invited anybody from any field, so they can come and contribute around issues of sustainability because it affects everybody. So now with the UN, if the Sustainable Development Goals, for example, you look at things like, I think Sustainable Goal 7, that talks about access to energy. Right. That is something that is also there within NDP 6, right? And then, so with this, we're trying now to bring all those things together. So they speak to each other. I would even say, think of it as the UN goals are more global, while the AU agenda obviously is more African, and then NDP 6 speaks also to what's unique to Namibia. But I would even say it's more of a localization of those in the Sustainable Development Goals. So it's not like there's one that is separate from the other. But you look at AU agenda, you see something about energy as well and sustainable development. You go to NDP 6, you see that coming up as well. You look at UN, you see that as well. But then you have to localize that. For example, within our context, we have something like the green hydrogen. Now, green hydrogen is not in every African country. So Namibia now has to localize that and say, okay, among these sustainable development goals, what speaks to us? What is relevant to us? But the conference speaks all of that. Sustainability is the golden thread that cuts across all these different entities.
While you were speaking, Doctor, you mentioned earlier there will be academics, business professionals, policymakers. Are there any prominent VIPs that we can expect at the conference?
We have cast our nets wide to invite people. We have got some academics coming from South Africa, the likes of Prof. Chimucheka, who are experts also in these issues of sustainability. Coming in, we've also invited entities like the United Nations. They did promise that they'll probably send somebody also to come and speak. And there's no way actually we could maybe ignore them because they are almost like the custodians. I think they do advise even the Namibian government on different issues of sustainability.
Right.
And then we also have, I think, Deloitte as well, which also does a lot of consultancy work. So those are some of the organizations that are coming. And not only that, we also have got speakers also from the Bank of Namibia who are also coming in to present papers as well. And so, yeah, there's quite a wide array of people from these different entities that are coming to speak.
I mean, Namibia lives in a global village, and when we talk about sustainability and this very important topic of sustainability, how will the conference actually benefit Namibia within the framework of the international community? What's important,
I normally look at it this way, that, you know, if you look at most African governments, we tend to sort of maybe have an over-reliance on, should I say, external expertise. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have external experts. Of course, as I said, we live in a global village, so you need that type of contribution from different people. However, with that being said, we also need African voices again to be heard in this case. So Namibia, how to benefit that? Namibia will then be able to define its own problems as well, or its potentially own solutions as well. We would normally discuss with colleagues that, you know, it's almost like when you take a sports car and you try to drive it in the sense of Vamboland, it's unlikely to work. So we also don't want solutions that are some good solutions or seemingly good solutions that are developed for US, whatever it is. They may potentially work there, but not necessarily here. But by hosting this conference as well, we're able now to position Namibia, to define Namibia. Here, these are the issues that affect Namibia. These are the issues that affect even the global, or should I say the global south, or emerging economies. So with that, I think, as I say, Namibia gets to lead the conversation regarding issues that speak to our own challenges here in Namibia and the continent at large.
Indeed so. Let's talk about the main topics or sessions that will be covered at the conference. Is there anything particular that pops up in your mind that you would just want to highlight?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier about issues, for example, green hydrogen. I mean, green hydrogen is like the key one, is the in thing currently. Indeed. So there are some papers that where there'll be presentations on green hydrogen, where some would look at things like implementation. How do you make sure that this thing becomes successful? With that also, there's be some presentation on green financing as well. So how do we then, with this thing like green hydrogen, you need financing, you know, so things like green financing will come up as well. And green entrepreneurship, because sustainable entrepreneurship, that's basically what it means in layman terms. Because, you know, you think about it this way, generally, I think it's well understood globally that more than half of, actually way more than that, maybe 70% or so, depending on what statistics you're looking at, of all SMEs fail within the first 5 years. So with this type of discussion, I will have people coming in and say, okay, now from our perspective, maybe if you want to make sustainable businesses or SMEs, this is what you need to put in place. So yeah, there's quite a wide array of papers around this. Green taxes as well. I think Deloitte will also come and speak on that as well.
Interesting topics, I must say. Okay. Now, is the conference open to the public in any way? Are there opportunities for students and young professionals that want to tap into these key topics in this key conference as well?
Yes.
Is it open to them?
It is open. We have, in fact, flighted also some adverts through our Facebook page, inviting the public and different stakeholders to sign up. I think we've had also some adverts also in the media, because at the end of the day, we understand that it's one thing to speak, but for our ideas to cascade down and make sure that they actually affect everyday thing, we need to invite everybody, because sustainability, whatever it may be, no matter how small the business or how large the business is, sustainability is an issue that we cannot run away from.
Just maybe finally, how can companies and corporates and institutions partner to support this valuable initiative or this valuable conference? Well,
I would say there are different ways that they can do that. One could be, as the conference, normally there are certain fees that small registration fees, if I can call it that we have to, for somebody to sign up. So they may sponsor, for example, SMEs that may want to come and to be part of the conference as well. And they may also sponsor even students themselves, because again, we understand that students are the leaders of tomorrow, and some of the students, of course, they have expressed an interest in coming. So those type of things, I think they can also help by sponsoring. I think that's the main thing, but also I would say they can also even contact our marketing head if they want to have any idea of how they may want to join this conversation as well, and how they can assist, because indeed we also want that type of thing. Because I have to say, I think generally in Namibia there's almost like a disconnect between academia and companies. So we actually welcome them to come in